You've decided to give it another try, but how do you rebuild trust when the person who hurt you is now saying they've changed? You want to believe things could be different this time, but how do you open your heart again without falling into the same devastating cycle that broke your trust before?
This video will walk you through the 5 steps that actually work to rebuild trust after an avoidant relationship, and what will keep you stuck in the same painful patterns that broke your trust in the first place.
Hi, I'm Tehrina.
And I'm Joel. We're licensed therapists here to help you heal from anxious attachment, stop chasing unavailable love, and build the secure relationships you deserve.
This is part 4 of our 5-part series, Healing from Unavailable Love. In part 1, we explored breadcrumbing within a relationship. In part 2, we looked at breadcrumbing after a breakup, why your avoidant ex keeps reaching out but never really shows up. And in part 3, we broke down how to tell if they've really changed or if it's just more breadcrumbs in disguise.
Today, we're sharing 5 steps to rebuild trust in a way that protects your heart, creates emotional safety, and gives the relationship a real chance to grow without repeating old patterns. These steps apply not only to romantic relationships, but also to friendships, family, and any connection where emotional safety has been violated.
And before we dive in, let's be clear. Deciding to try again doesn't mean returning to what hurt you. Rebuilding trust is not about forgetting. It's about building something new with stronger foundations, clearer agreements, and deeper safety. And you always have the right to step back if that rebuild starts to feel unsafe.
The first step in rebuilding trust is acknowledging that trust was actually broken. And I'm not just talking about obvious betrayals like cheating or lying. Emotional safety can be violated in much subtler ways that are just as damaging to your ability to feel secure in the relationship. Trust breaks when someone consistently dismisses your feelings, shuts down during important conversations, and makes promises they don't keep, or creates emotional distance when you need connection. Trust breaks when your nervous system learns that this person isn't safe to be vulnerable with.
For those of us with anxious attachment, we often minimize this kind of emotional betrayal. We tell ourselves things like, they didn't mean to hurt me, or it wasn't that bad, or I was just too sensitive. But your nervous system knows the difference between feeling emotionally safe and feeling constantly on edge, and that knowledge matters. When I work with couples rebuilding trust, one of the first things I help them understand is that the person who was hurt gets to define what hurt them. You don't have to prove that your pain is valid or justify why certain behaviors broke your trust.
It's also completely normal to feel afraid when you're considering rebuilding with someone who hurt you. Your attachment system is doing its job by being cautious. That fear isn't a sign that you're not ready to forgive. It's a sign that your nervous system is trying to protect you from being hurt again.
So the first step is simply naming what happened. My trust was broken when, and then giving yourself permission to feel whatever comes up about that acknowledgement. You can't rebuild something without first honestly assessing what needs to be repaired.
The second step is understanding that you're not resuming the old relationship. You're building a new one. This means starting with a foundation of clear agreements about how you'll interact, communicate, and handle challenges moving forward.
And this is so important because the old relationship didn't work. If you just pick up where you left off, you'll recreate the same dynamics that led to broken trust in the first place. Building something new requires intentionality about what you want to be different.
Start by establishing shared goals. What are you both hoping to create this time? What specific challenges are you committed to making? How will you know if the rebuild is working? These conversations might feel overly structured, but clarity creates safety for your nervous system.
And this is when, in couples therapy, I ask each partner to create their must haves and deal breakers relationship vision to get really clear with both themselves and their partner on what they are intentionally creating in a healthy relationship moving forward. We made a video on how couples can use this free tool we created, and we'll link the video and our free relationship guide in the description box below. One couple I worked with actually decided to write a contract between them that they both signed, kept a copy of, and gave a copy of it to me for added accountability of the things that needed to happen and to continue to happen in order for this new relationship they were creating to work.
Some couples find it helpful to establish new boundaries that weren't necessary before. Things like we take a 20-minute break if either of us gets activated during a conversation, or we check in with each other twice a week about how we're feeling about the relationship, or we pause before trying to solve problems and first focus on understanding each other's feelings.
The key is that these agreements need to feel protective and supportive to both people, not punitive or controlling. You're creating structure that helps both of your nervous systems to feel safer as you navigate this vulnerable process together.
The third step is prioritizing nervous system repair before diving back into deep emotional intimacy. Your attachment system needs to experience consistent safety before it can relax enough to be vulnerable again.
This means trust gets rebuilt through small, repeated experiences of emotional safety, not through grand gestures or intense conversations. Your nervous system needs to learn through experience that this person can handle your emotions without shutting down, dismissing you, or pulling away.
Think of it like physical therapy after an injury. You don't immediately go back to running marathons. You start with gentle movements that prove to your body that it's safe to trust your strength again. Emotional trust works the same way.
Look for safe to be myself interactions. These are moments where you can express a need, share a feeling, or be vulnerable in a small way, and your partner responds with presence, understanding, and care rather than defensiveness or withdrawal. This might look like sharing small frustrations about your day and seeing if your partner can listen without trying to fix you or minimize your feelings, or expressing when you feel disconnected and seeing if they can respond with curiosity rather than defensiveness. These aren't big dramatic moments. They're ordinary interactions that prove your emotions are safe with this person.
Your nervous system is incredibly smart and will tell you when it's starting to feel safer. You might notice that you're not walking on eggshells as much, you're not constantly scanning their mood, or you're not holding your breath, waiting for them to pull away. And here's something important: if you're not feeling safer over time, that's crucial information. Trust rebuilding should gradually decrease your anxiety, not increase it. If you find yourself feeling more activated, more hypervigilant, or more emotionally depleted, that's your nervous system telling you that this dynamic still isn't safe.
Our From Testing to Trusting guide is specifically designed to help you recognize when your nervous system is genuinely feeling safer versus when you might be pushing yourself to trust before safety has been established. We'll put a link to that in the description too.
The fourth step is that rebuilding requires ongoing transparency and accountability from both people. You can't just agree to do things differently and then never talk about how it's going or what's still challenging.
This means both people need to be willing to name patterns when they see them happening, even if it's uncomfortable. So if you notice yourself falling back into old defensive habits, you name it. If you see your partner starting to withdraw during a conversation, you can gently point that out too.
The goal isn't to be the relationship police or constantly critique each other. The goal is to create a dynamic where you can address small issues before they become big problems, and where both people feel permission to speak honestly about their experience.
So conflict repair becomes absolutely crucial during this process. How you handle disagreements, misunderstandings, or moments when old patterns resurface will determine whether trust actually rebuilds or gets more fragile. Our conflict repair worksheet teaches you exactly how to navigate these moments in a way that strengthens trust rather than damaging it further. It's designed to help you reconnect after difficult conversations and turn conflicts into opportunities for deeper understanding. And yep, this can be found in the description as well.
Real accountability also means being willing to repair when things go wrong, not just apologizing, but taking specific steps to address the impact of your behavior and demonstrate that you're committed to doing better.
And here's what's different about rebuilding versus the original relationship. Now both people have developed the skills and awareness they didn't have before, allowing you to be able to catch patterns earlier, communicate more effectively, and repair more quickly when things go sideways.
If you find that the same conflicts keep happening without any real resolution, or that repair attempts aren't working, that's important information about whether genuine change has occurred and whether this dynamic can actually become secure.
The fifth step is knowing how to recognize when the rebuild is actually working versus when you're just hoping it's working. You're looking for signs that your emotional experience is genuinely shifting in positive ways, not just theoretically improving.
The first sign that this is happening is that you feel calmer overall, not more anxious. Rebuilding trust gradually decreases your hypervigilance and worry, rather than increasing it. If you're constantly checking their mood, analyzing their behavior, or feeling like you need to be careful about what you say or do, the foundation isn't actually stable yet.
You shouldn't need to chase for reassurance the way you might have before. In a securely rebuilding relationship, your partner proactively offers the emotional connection and communication you need without you having to ask for it repeatedly.
Another sign is that you see repair happening in real time, not just promises about future change. When misunderstandings or conflicts arise, you see them being addressed quickly and effectively, with both people taking responsibility for their part and working together towards resolution.
One of my clients shared the moment they knew trust was actually rebuilding in their relationship. It was when they realized they weren't constantly bracing for disappointment anymore. They could make plans with their partner, share vulnerable feelings, or have disagreements without their nervous system going into panic mode about whether their partner was going to shut down or pull away.
Another sign is that you feel like yourself in the relationship. You're not constantly editing your words, suppressing your needs, or trying to be the perfect partner to avoid triggering their avoidant patterns. You can be authentic and feel confident that your authentic self is welcomed and cherished.
And perhaps most importantly, you trust your own perceptions and feelings again. Avoidant relationships often leave us questioning our own reality, doubting our needs, or minimizing our emotional experiences. In a healing relationship, your inner wisdom and emotional intelligence are honored and valued.
Let's talk about what's actually happening in your brain and nervous system during the trust rebuilding process, because understanding this can help you be more patient with yourself and more realistic about timelines. Research on attachment and trauma recovery shows us that trust is rebuilt through what neuroscientists call corrective emotional experiences. These are interactions that literally rewire your neural pathways by providing evidence that contradicts your previous learning about this person's safety. Dr. Daniel Siegel's research on neuroplasticity shows that it takes repeated positive experiences over time to create new neural pathways. Your brain needs substantial evidence that things are genuinely different before it stops defaulting to protective responses. Studies on attachment repair reveal that the nervous system processes safety differently than the cognitive mind does. You might intellectually believe that your partner's changed, but your nervous system needs experiential proof through consistent, safe interactions over months, not weeks. And research by Dr. Sue Johnson on emotionally focused therapy shows that trust rebuilds most effectively when both partners can access and express their underlying attachment needs and fears. This means moving beyond surface level behavior changes to address the deeper emotional wounds that created the disconnection. Brain imaging studies also show us that when we're in activated attachment states, feeling unsafe or uncertain in our relationships, our prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thinking, goes offline. This is why rebuilding trust can't solely rely on logical agreements. It has to address the emotional and nervous system responses that drive our behavior. And what's particularly encouraging is research showing that securely attached relationships can actually heal insecure attachment patterns over time. Dr. Philip Shaver's longitudinal studies demonstrate that consistent, responsive relationship experiences can literally change your attachment style, creating more security and resilience. And the key finding across all this research is that sustainable trust rebuilding happens gradually through consistent, small positive interactions rather than through dramatic gestures or intense emotional experiences. Your nervous system needs boring, predictable safety more than exciting, passionate connection.
So let's get to the heart of it. Rebuilding trust after an avoidant relationship takes incredible courage, both to open your heart again and to maintain your boundaries while you do it. You're essentially saying, I'm willing to be vulnerable with you again, but only if we can create something fundamentally different and safer than what we had before. That's not naive or foolish. That's brave and wise. You're not going back to what didn't work. You're choosing to build something new with the knowledge and skills you both have now. So the goal isn't to erase the past or pretend the hurt never happened. The goal is to integrate those two experiences into a new relationship that honors both your growth and your need for emotional safety. Your past pain becomes wisdom that informs how you build something better. And please hear this. If at any point in this process you realize that it's not working for you, stepping back doesn't mean you failed. It means you're honoring your needs and protecting your well being. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is recognize that two people can care about each other deeply and still not be able to create the safety and security that healthy love requires. Real healing happens when both people are genuinely committed to their own growth and to creating something better together. If you're the only one doing the emotional work, or if you find yourself constantly making excuses for why the rebuild isn't progressing, those are important signals to pay attention to. Trust your own experience throughout this process. Your nervous system is incredibly wise and will tell you whether you're actually feeling safer and more secure, or whether you're just hoping things will eventually feel better. That internal wisdom is more reliable than any external reassurances or promises. Remember, healthy relationships enhance your sense of self, they don't diminish it. If rebuilding trust is requiring you to constantly compromise your boundaries, minimize your needs, or edit your authentic self, then what you're rebuilding isn't actually trustworthy. The most beautiful thing about genuine trust rebuilding is that it creates something stronger and more secure than what existed before. When two people can navigate hurt, repair damage, and build something new together, they develop a resilience and intimacy that can weather whatever challenges life brings. You deserve that kind of secure, lasting love. And whether you're finding it by rebuilding with this person or by applying these skills to a new relationship, you are worthy of consistent, reliable, emotionally nourishing connection.
So here's what we want you to think about. If you're in the process of rebuilding trust, which of these steps feels most challenging for you? And what is your nervous system telling you about how the process is going?
Don't forget to download our free conflict repair worksheet to learn exactly how to navigate difficult conversations in a way that builds trust rather than breaking it down. And get our From Testing to Trusting guide to understand when your nervous system is genuinely feeling safer versus when you might be pushing yourself to trust before safety has been established.
Let us know in the comments. What's working in your trust rebuilding process? What feels most difficult? Your experiences help us create content that truly serves your healing journey.
In our next and final video in this series, we're talking about what to do when rebuilding trust isn't working, how to know when it's time to let go, and how to do that with love and dignity rather than bitterness and resentment.
Your time is valuable. Thank you for sharing some of it with us today. If you found this helpful, please give it a like. And if you know someone who might be navigating this challenging process, please share this video. It could provide the guidance and hope that they need.
Subscribe and take care of your heart. It takes courage to love again after being hurt. The goal isn't just to trust them again, it's to trust yourself, your wisdom, your worth, and your right to feel safe in love. And we're here to support you in building the secure, lasting love you deserve. Remember, you're not alone. We're all in this together.